This is the Volvo Ninjas Podcast, Episode 4, Volvos Make the Best Lemons. There's one so I'll read off the schedule. So February 6th and 7th, there's one in Charlotte. February 20th and 21st, Houston, Texas. March 6th and 7th, San Francisco. March 7th, this is part of the other ones, it's San Francisco as well. Detroit, Michigan, April 17th and 18th. New Orleans, May 1st and 2nd. Any excuse to go to New Orleans, I will go to New Orleans. I love New Orleans. May the 9th, Northern California. And then there's another one in Charlotte, May 22nd and 23rd. And then there's a whole list for the rest of the year. This is really cool. I'm going to have to look at the rules and stuff because...
Yeah, the rules are hysterical. I definitely pored over them a couple times when I was planning on doing this. And I mean, obviously they go a bit further into depth than what I just kind of glazed over. But I mean, it's pretty much straightforward. Don't do anything shady. And I mean, go out there and have a blast. And anyone can do this. This is the great thing about it. I mean, even if you're poor as hell, as long as you like wrenching on cars, that's pretty much that's the only criteria that you must meet to enjoy renting on cars. And when you're around other people like that, I mean, of course it's going to be a great time.
Awesome. This is completely, there are enough Volvo people in the Raleigh area. There's a lot of these Volvo folks in North Carolina. I wonder if any of them are doing this. And two,
weren't there some guys on Turbo Bricks who were doing this?
I haven't. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to search on the forums and do a search and see. Because, man, that is just. I've never heard of that, and I'm excited to have learned. That's cool.
And actually, if you ever, I don't know if you are on Something Awful forums, but in Something Awful Automotive Insanity, they have a thread about this that was going on for a while there. That's what originally got me interested in this, because I mean, there's guys in there who, you know, they take this race seriously. There's a couple like Ford Festivas that are just like, you know, battle hardened, you know, Lemons veterans. Good stuff.
Dude, okay. So I don't see any recent posts. When I search 24 hours and lemons, they're under events. There's like the most recent post on one of them is like from January, March, April of last year. And then there's one from January. This is probably it. It doesn't look like it's very active. So what are, off the top of your head, the rules are $500 spent on purchasing the car, or can it just be a car?
Well, the car has to be worth $500. I mean, you can't, you know, get your friend to sell you his, you know, brand new Golf or whatever for $500 and then go out there and race it. I mean, it has to seriously be worth $500, the car itself. So I mean, you can buy a car for $50 without a working engine, but you have to find a engine that will be less than $450 and to throw in there and, you know, have running. So the total you can spend on the car aside from safety is $500. That includes brakes and everything.
Wow.
Suspension components as well, which really, I mean, that's the one thing. If you're dealing with $500 cars, you want to make sure your suspension and brakes are up to snuff, because it's no good having, you know, a powerful engine when you try to press on the brakes and you go flying off the course in a ball of fire.
Yeah, this is how I can easily see that like a 240 would be perfect for this.
Yeah, because really what you have to do is you have to sit down and look at the car, and you have to do some serious budgeting of, okay, we can only spend X amount of dollars on this. And I mean, you have to do it as a team. You have to have a minimum of 4 drivers, and most teams will consist of like 8 people. So you as a team, you all have money invested in this. So, I mean, you have to sit down and think of what's best for the team. You know, do we spend money on, you know, suspension or brakes, or, you know, it's some big decisions that have to be made for such a small and meaningless race.
That's hilarious, though. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bookmark
We should
that.
get the Turbo Bricks sponsored team going, or a couple teams sponsored by Turbo Bricks around the country, competing in all the events, regional events, regional teams.
I think
because
that's
I would be down to have a Midwester. God, I keep on jumping in on you, but yeah, no, I think that'd be a good idea.
It's interesting because I'm trying to see where the races were. They didn't seem to be. Let me see again.
I guess that would be the first order of business of the National Turbo Bricks team would be to, all right, split up the races by region and people in those regions that are interested in doing this. And sounds like a lot of planning.
Yeah, it does. It's like herding a lot of cats. That's what it sounds like.
Yep.
But it's interesting because there are some like hardcore, like Sir Psycho, for example, dude is like, he's hardcore. And I think, him and maybe 2 or 3 other people that are local in this area. And there's some like turbo brick folks that are like parts people, like Del Fosse or some, I think that's his name. I'm not sure, but he's in North Carolina, and he's got like 240 parts just falling out of his pockets. And there's actually
that would be a good person to have on your team, because I mean, from there you could just swap out 240 part for 240 part, and it might pass, underneath the guy or the watchful eyes of the or judges.
Well, I guess I'm still not clear on like how they determine the value of the car. That's the part I'm lost on.
The judges of the competition are obviously, guys who are local to the area but are pretty much impartial to the race and really, really know their cars. Like, they'll pop open the hood of your car and they'll be like, wait a second, that turbo wasn't stock on that, or this part wasn't stock there, or, I mean, they spot the easily identifiable things and ring up an estimated price of that in their head. And
interesting.
You also have to keep a log of the car. That's another thing. You have to keep a log of everything that you've done to the car. And if there's something that has been mentioned in the log and that part looks way, way, way too clean compared to all the other parts around it, maybe that's just been thrown in there, that will definitely go, get noticed.
Well, it's like that. I really think my 244 might fit this category of.
Oh, what was that?
The 244 turbo I have, the 82. It would actually make.
Yeah.
Because the engine is like, the thing pulls. I mean, it is a fast car. It does need overdrive. So it only has 4 gears, which is problematic when you're trying to like drive on the interstate.
Yeah, but I mean, that right there is debatable. But more importantly, do you think the car itself is worth less than $500?
I think if you were to look at it objectively, with all the rust that it has, and the engine looks dirty, even though it's strong, and that the suspension's a little soft, you might, and it's like it's got paint kind of, it's okay, but it's not like pristine or anything. It would look like a $500 car. I think so.
If it looked like a $500 car, and if you can get it to pass through inspection, I couldn't think of a better car to put in a 24 Hours of Lemons race. I really can't. Especially when you consider that most people out there are like, there's Buicks and really old Cadillacs, some Yugos and shit like that out there. But yeah, Volvo 240 Turbo would go out there even without overdrive and definitely clean up.